news, views, voices of the global Indian community. India abroad.
Thank you, Mr. Zha. Southeast Asian Indians have a significantly higher incidence of non-communicable disease in USA, UK, Australia, and New Zealand. And concerning facts are, a lot of them are underdiagnosed. Part of the reason being, we immigrants tend to go less for preventive health care compared to what is required. And we have noted in over last 50 years that prevalence of cardiovascular disease among Southeast Asian population in US, UK, Canada, etc. is significantly higher. It happens at younger age. Indians tend to get a heart attack at much younger age, almost 10 years younger than Caucasians. Very high prevalence is also of diabetes, and as we know, it is because of a contaminated vegetarianism. We tend to eat more polished rice, more polished wheat, and frozen food has increased the incidence of hypertension. So, 4 non-communicable diseases which are I call the sick pillar of the early death are diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, and hyperlipidemia. They all interrelated, and part of the reason is in USA we tend to be doing less and lesser physical activities compared to when we are growing up in India, and same thing happening now in India. Comfort level is improving, so prevalence of diabetes is much higher even in rural India than what it used to be. In USA, type 2 diabetes is very prevalent among Indians. Hyperlipidemia is also very prevalent, and hypertension is increased, as I told you about the disease. And all these 3 combined tends to create the heart attack at much younger age. Also, our symptoms are not classical. A lot of people ignore indigestion, which can be the symptom of right coronary artery ischemia, which is called inferior wall myocardial infarction. We tend to neglect because most of our patients are 33, 35 and they think it's indigestion, but it may be really lack of blood supply to the bottom part of the heart. So, awareness is very important, and we should try with media to get people be informed about early symptoms of coronary event or stroke event. Very good question. This is very important. Important things is, first is like a fist. People feel like a vice. Chest tightness, that's classical for angina, what we call. Second thing is could be left arm pain, right arm pain, indigestion, burning in the chest. Unfortunately for our women, they don't get classical symptoms. They may have tingling, they may have numbness, and also because women tolerance is high, they tend to ignore. So after age 50, a lot of Indian women should have a cardiovascular checkup because after menopause, they are not protected. So awareness is very important. So these symptoms are there. Sometimes they sweat and people think, oh, I worked very hard. So it is very important to not to neglect the symptoms. Contact your cardiologist, contact your general practitioner, and also ask yourself, did anybody in your family died at younger age before 50? When we are growing up in India, people did not know the family history. So it's very important to understand our ancestors' history. That is important marker. Then also important marker to know about the likelihood of coronary event is, do they have personal history of diabetes, smoking, hypertension, hyperlipidemia? But if they never go to doctor, if they don't know about that at 20 or 30, how are you going to protect? So it's important to get like what we suggest for mammogram for young women to prevent breast cancer. For cardiovascular awareness, we need to have every Indian, based on the family history, try to get an early checkup. Also, I tell you the gold standard in America is a low HDL and high LDL. But that LDL number does not predict the heart attack rate among the Indian, Southeast Asian. And we have seen a lot of people who get a heart attack, they have normal LDL. So what are the...
So for the readers, viewers who might not know what LDL, HDL
Yes.
is, can you explain?
Oh, sure. There are two kinds of, we know the term cholesterol. So my mistake, I should have told you about the markers of cholesterol, triglyceride, and high HDL usually is a protective. H stand for high. High HDL protects against the heart attack in most of the cases. Among the Indian, we tend to have low HDL, and LDL says so, low density lipoprotein. So if it is high, above 190, it increases the risk of coronary event. That applies to most of the world population, Caucasians, but not to the Southeast Asian. What we have found that we Indians tend to have high level of what we call lipoprotein A. That's a special blood test a physician has to order if anybody has a premature atherosclerosis history among the family. Second marker which is very important to know is called inflammatory marker, is called high sensitivity C-reactive protein. And third marker which is very important for Southeast Asian to predict the early coronary event or vascular event is what we call homocysteine level. If that is high, it can be helped by taking B complex tablets, etc. But the risk modification is very important, and those young Indians, if their BMI, what you call basal metabolic index, is about 23, their likelihood of getting coronary event or cerebrovascular event is high. So they should try to do workout, they should try to have a good healthy diet which is high fiber, high protein, low carbohydrate. They should express the love and emotion to their family. Anger is another cause of plaque rupture which causes heart attack. So we try to control what we call stress reduction and burnout, which is very important for coronary event prevention. Absolutely, what we call laughing club in India, they're a good example. And when we were growing up, as you know, we always were surrounded by people who bring the laughter. That's why India has a lot of holidays and there's a lot of social activity. And we also have a lot of data which shows people who are isolated or they don't have a social support system, they tend to get more cardiovascular event. So it's very important. And once we try to have this prevention aspect with lifestyle modification, including diet, exercise, and pranayam. And I tell you why our ancient Vedic science is important. When you do pranayam, or which you call breathing exercise or yogic exercise, by that you are increasing your parasympathetic tone. So when you increase your parasympathetic tone, you tend to decrease your heart rate.
Okay, so
When you take the deep breath, you hold what we call kurma kriya, hold your navel area, take a deep breath, push your stomach out, turn your head back and hold it for 90 seconds. And when you breathe out, you exhale and make your stomach go all the way back and touch your spine. That's a correct way of breathing, and when you can hold the breath longer, you tend to be relaxed. You tend to bring your heart rate down because that's what you call vagal tone stimulation or parasympathetic drive. When we get angry, we release unhappy hormones we call norepinephrine, epinephrine and cortisol, which are not good for our body. But when you laugh, you release the happy hormones which are called serotonin, dopamine, endorphin, and that helps you to relax, dilate the blood vessel, you get more blood supply. That is something what my guru Shivanand, Dr. Avdut Shivanand and Ishan Shivanand has taught me, which we call Shivanand rule. That's called 90-second rule. The things which are not good for our body do not respond. Only we have power to control our reaction towards somebody's action. We don't have power to control somebody's action. So once we learn this called relaxation techniques, what we call ancient Vedic techniques of self control, I think is very important for our body. We can control our anger, we can control inflammation, we can control our cortisol level. So I think it's very important. It's like medicine. You have to develop habit. You have to invest in your health of preventive posture, which is sitting straight, touching your toes. Those are very important for body mechanism. Like when was the last time you expressed love to your pancreas or love to your eyes? We have to learn to express gratitude to our body parts, and that also is a kind of what we call techniques, integrative healthcare techniques, all called spiritual based techniques to laugh. Yeah, I'm a cardiovascular specialist.
and now again,
I can tell you that since 1975, US has adopted this called integrative healthcare approach. Dr. Andrew Weil from University of Arizona, he was one of the proponents, and Dr. Benson from Harvard, they started teaching this breathing technique and self-relaxation techniques. If you remember, Mr. Goenka started Vipassana. That is all are similar, and mindfulness was started in 1979 in Boston. They all ultimately look for one thing. You have to learn to control your anger, and you have to connect mind, body, soul science. And that is what ancient Vedic science has always taught us, whether it's Chinese, Unani, uh, Indian Vedic science. You have to learn the science of self-realization, science of self-love. And that's very important. If you don't love yourself, how are you going to love somebody else? If you don't respect someone, how are you going to respect yourself? It's all learning forgiveness is important for you rather than somebody else. Because when you do all of them, you learn to chill, you learn to relax, and they all are important for what we call about control of your hormones, what you call neurohormonal axis, and laughter as you mentioned. So when we are happy, we tend to have your blood pressure lower. When you don't release cortisol, you don't get infection easily. And when you don't get angry, your epinephrine levels are going to be low. So they prevent the plaque rupture, and heart attack is a plaque rupture, stroke is a plaque rupture, and we have not learned how to prevent the plaque rupture yet. And I think it's a habit, right? When you are surrounded by people, and then see, I give you example with my grandson Zain. He laughs, I laugh. What is important for our culture? Why did 4 generations live together? Laughter nurtures laughter. And who are the best people to give you happiness? Your grandchildren, or people who make you laugh, people who make you secure. So I think having you find the right company is very important for cardiovascular health, and especially for diabetes also is very important, because you walk with your grandchild, you play with them, you are going to be physically active. So life is not only for individual, life is for society. So health is defined not only as a physical health. Is by WHO definition, optimal health is defined as a combination of physical health, mental health, spiritual health, societal health, financial health, and nation's health. My guru Avadhut Sivanand has quoted, sick people make sick nation, healthy people make healthy nation. And Ishan Sivanand, one of my guru, is teaching this art, science and arts of yoga of immortal, by which youth can avoid stressful situation. When they invest in health, they are unlikely to get chronic diseases, what we call non-communicable diseases. And as you know, allopathy is very good for acute care. If somebody has a heart attack, it's easy for us to fix with coronary angioplasty, stent, etc. Some people may need bypass. But for chronic care disease management, I don't think allopathy is as good as what ancient integrative healthcare is good. So we need to have doctors who combine all this individualized treatment, because individuals have different DNA. Population healthcare is for population. Ayurveda was discovered for individual health. So we need to learn to adapt all the ancient Eastern medicine discovered by Charak, Dhanvantri and Sushrut, along with Western science discovered in the last 400 years by our great scientists of West. It's a real word is yoga, not yoga. Yoga can be physical exercise, which you can do it with Lululemon, wearing the nice clothes. It's a fashion. Yoga is merging with yourself. And that is what we need to learn when you combine the physical disease-based yoga activity along with mind. That is very important. And yoga 21st day is just reminder that ancient Vedic science is important. Now it's accepted that when yoga kriya are combined every day for chronic pain medicine, 40% plus people benefit by reducing their pain management medicines, which has a lot of side effect and the cost. So my message to 21st is just don't do it on one day. What Prime Minister Modi introduces Yoga Day, correct me if I am wrong, and Ramdev proposed this in 1996. It's a household name now. I do believe it has a lot of ramification for positivity for chronic care disease management. And Iyengar Guruji had done such a great job on teaching individual disease-based mudras. And mudra science is very important. By when you touch this way, you are stimulating your right brain. When you do this way, you are stimulating your left brain. And what the word Ardhanarishwar comes, when you make your left brain and right brain work in synchrony with yoga mudra, you are going to experience the bliss. And every human being is born not to experience sorrow. They took the birth to experience bliss. And yoga teaches you how to experience happiness. You don't come with anything in this life, you are not going to take anything with you. Your life is to share the knowledge and happiness. It increases in value. And we physicians, we are grateful to the good Lord and the media. We can pass the information, and prevention is very important. So I think I'm glad that you are taking this mission of bringing awareness to the community at large at young age, how to avoid certain man-made diseases. And diseases disturb an age. Who is causing it? We are causing disease. So if we are causing the disease, we have power to at least prevent a complication. I'm not saying that we have power to cure everything, but we have power to delay the complication. And that's where our physicians and the medicine, which can be positive, it can improve the outcome data for everyone. So my humble request to all the listeners is, have your annual physical checkup done, which is covered by all insurance in America. If you don't have insurance, you should try to find the doctors who are in each county controlled by US government, that you get a free health care, and you should invest into health. If you don't have right information, contact any news media, especially Mr. Zha, who is doing a good innovative approach to bring awareness to immigrants and Southeast Asian population. Contact them. He will be able to connect you with the right provider in your neighborhood. Trust them, ask them how to improve their lifestyle, and invest into health. Cut down salt intake, cut down your sugar intake, eat more fruits, vegetables, drink 3.5 liters of water, and walk with your honey 2 to 3 miles a day, and express your gratitude to everyone. Don't expect anything, expect a root cause of disease, and happiness, which you deserve it, it will be around you. The teenagers, very important. Important for them is they are the future of the world, and they have infinite energy. They are blessed with more talent than what we had, because this is information age. Anything they want to learn, they can go on Google and they can learn it. First, my advice to them, love yourself, accept yourself, and respect yourself. Learn to forgive everyone every day, and laugh. 90-second rule, don't get angry. You don't deserve to be burned out. You don't need to experience the bliss. You don't need to experience anger. You need to experience bliss, and you don't need to get burned out. Stress and anxiety are wrong words. You are too young. You don't need them. You have nice parents. You have nice friends. Pick up your choices which are good, and you'll be happier. And try to stay away from devices. Don't use it more than 1 hour except for education. Try to stay away from the television, because that's negative energy as well as wrong information. So I think you are in charge of your own destiny.
But everything is integrated there.
You are absolutely right. That's why I use the word, what you have to study for your education is important. A lot of time they spend the time on surfing, which is for no use. So they can be on TikTok with their friend for 2 hours. That's why I say restrict your time, use it wisely. That is a lot of radiation, and there's also a lot of correlation, increased incidence of certain diseases because the way you hold it close to your ear. Some of the study, I'm not saying how accurate they are, but in some studies there's increased incidence of hearing impairment or acoustic neuroma. It may not be for youth, but it may be applicable to people who are 80. Anything in moderation is good. Anything in excess is bad. And I think as alcohol and smoking was bad, in my opinion, too much addiction to gadget is not good for the youth or for any age group. And I know it's a way of life. What some of the schools, and as you know, Apple tries to tell you to push the limit on yourselves. It can be individual. In my experience, there's no particular hard and fast rule. What we do to our grandchildren and to our children when they are growing up, we had less than 2 hours for recreational activity on the devices, which include the television per day or the phone. Fortunately, when our children were growing up, they did not have iPhone, but now everybody has it. So that is my humble request, that anything as a parent or as a teenager, you do your own study and see what is good or bad for you. Play outside, make friends, and outdoor is very good. Sun doesn't ask anything in return for you. He gives you light and life. You make friends, laugh, do physical activity. Obesity diseases will stay away from you. And when you love your body and you're physically fit and your six-pack body, I think people are going to pay respect to you. And you'll have no reason to eat excessive food. Try to learn to cook yourself at young age and try to eat more fruits and vegetables organically grown. Invest in your health, be physically active, walk on the grass barefoot, walk on the sand, drink water, because you need to have grounding with earth, which is a old science. There are no research done on everything what micronutrients got done by God. So I think more and more research are going to happen. We are coming back. There's more vegetarian now than ever because we are finding it out. A lot of cancer was related to not necessarily meat consumption but artificial ingredient for frozen food. So my humble request is you learn, read, and what is good for you and what is available in your area. Try to eat, I call God's food, which is created by God, organic, natural food. Meat, if you prepare it, eat it within 4 hours of preparation rather than 8 days frozen. That's my experience. Anything frozen has a salt and chemicals.
So one should avoid that.
Try to avoid it. You try to get into good habit, you will live longer and you will be happier and you will be productive for the world. You have taken a birth to bring happiness to the world. You are technically savvy. Very, very important thing what government can do is, as you know, in the current state of the affair in the world, important people are, as you know, in the old age we used to call Matru Deva Bhava, Pitru Deva Bhava, Guru Deva Bhava, and then Atithi Deva Bhava. So important is parents are the teachers when the children are growing. So having the right attitude by the children, by the parents, exposing them to the right healthy food habits and physical activity doing together, eating together at 6 p.m. with children, I think will be early. When you talk about a government, what government start with the school, because in USA, as you know, after once children are 6th grade, free education is there. I think rather than having soda machine in the school's cafe, we should try to concentrate more on the fruits and vegetable. So I think that will be very important to have them consumption of fresh fruits and vegetable, healthy habitatory diet and less meat consumption. Chicken is okay, fish is okay, but frozen meat may not be good. Smoking cessation, not availability of smoking or the drugs around the school district will be very, very important. Stretching exercise should be part of the school if they can do. Meditation, we have talked about the benefits. So if we are introducing the class 15 minutes of self meditation or stretching exercise, I think we might get a better benefit. Also awareness for the negative impact of alcohol, cigarettes, fentanyl, etc. in the middle school, I think will be very, very important. And if something happens, children are exposed to say drugs, how to save their lives, such as Biden administration has introduced the concept for called availability of naloxone for every teenagers. And as you know, between 18 and 49, we are losing a lot of people with fentanyl and xylazine overdose. So I think the family and the community and colleges and schools should be mandatory, have the educational classes on disadvantage of substance abuse or the cons of the substance abuse, which include opioids or their derivatives, alcohol, smoking, etc., or gadget addiction. So I think schools, government play a major role, and at the same time, I really request administrator and academics should take a keen interest because habits are formed in the young age; they continue for life. So if we want to protect the world, we have to teach our children and the students how to say no to the things which are not good for their health. And that is where awareness, taking advantage and acceptance is very important. For Southeast Asian parents, my message is we have a lot of denial. Our children can be exposed to the drugs, alcohol, and we have to support them rather than fighting, no, our children cannot do that. I think timely help will save a lot of lives, and that is important is awareness, and government should help news media to have weekly article on this awareness for each county, because each county is what you call behavioral patterns are different, availability of drugs are different, and so I think if you look at it, I call major metropolitan areas have higher prevalence of substance abuse. now it's rampant in rural area too, but I think we concentrate in these people who are less privileged to get awareness. I think we'll do good, and thank God we have real-time media awareness with YouTube channels or news media or the school. We can start that. So my message to government is be active, don't wait. 50% of people were depressed over last 5 years, one day or another one. Nobody needs to have mental health issue. We need to try to reduce it and start never too late. I think one of the important aspect what you say, the regulation does not bring that kind of control. As you know, we have free vaccination, but it's a free country, so people don't want to take vaccination. So anything regulation cannot be mandatory and people will revolt. Versus I think having the right awareness, and when you're convincing the parents and the students or the individual, this is good for you, I think the acceptance rate and maintenance of that good habit will continue longer. Versus regulation, indirect suggestion is important, but I don't think you can regulate people what to eat, what not to eat. I think suggestions is important. Awareness and education and teamwork is very important. Non-communicable diseases are increasing all over the world. If I may say about developing countries such as India, when I was growing up, the prevalence of diabetes was very little. We did not hear the word heart attack as much as we hear. We hardly heard the word breast cancer in 1960s. It may have been there, but we did not have diagnostic ability. Now you see all non-communicable diseases increasing. You are seeing the stroke increasing by 55% for Indian population under age 50. Cardiac event increasing, even you have seen the 20s, 30s and 40s getting cardiac event. Diabetes is every fourth person is expected to get diabetes by 2045 in urban area in India. We are going to expect to have 125 million people with diabetes in India by 2040. I think these are the very scary numbers, and you know that all these chronic care diseases impact the government expense, societal expense and the comorbidity. So it's not too late to get awareness to rural area. And why my concern for NCDs in rural India and developing countries such as Mozambique or Zambia, there is no awareness. Rural has no access. So access, awareness, affordability are very important, and I think that's where the telehealth and telemedia can make a very much awareness. And what we are doing with the Wills Global Corporation, Wills Global Foundation, we are trying to get that awareness impact to all over the world through the people who want to share the knowledge and the time and the resources. And I think each one has to participate for this good thing to bring the next door neighbor that you have to be healthy. And I do believe that in the current state in India, what we are working, we are starting this impact for rural India development through the support of Wills, technology driven media and telehealth. So we are bringing through Sahayak, and each villager gives awareness through the what we call asynchronous and synchronous modes. Hopefully next 5 years, our first objective is to get awareness regarding NCD and mental health under leadership of Ishan Sivanand and Dr. Rasha, my partner, to bring this awareness to rural India, which is 800 million people. Hopefully someday, as a proud Indian graduate of medical school from Mumbai, we can give back to country who gave us the free education. And same thing we are doing in America, because this country has given opportunity. So Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, world is flat, as Tom Friedman says, and we should try to share knowledge and what we have with the people who are less privileged than us. It can be knowledge, wealth or the awareness. So I'm glad that you are starting this awareness abhiyan, I may call it, through our educated academician, physicians and the recipient, and media is the best way. Like what I call today's Gurukul is you guys, is YouTube. And I'm glad that people don't have to go to ashram to learn. You can do it through the media, and with your YouTube channel, I'm sure this message will be heard. And anybody else who want to participate with your channel, they can give the time, resources and advertisement, whatever way they want to help to make other people be aware of NCDs and what they can do. And my humble request to a lot of our pharmaceutical company is to participate in this abhiyan of to prevent the non-communicable disease complication and to help against the mental health issue with whatever they can do with naloxone, or for awareness thing, what they can fund it through your corporation or through Wills. my feeling is time is to share and care for the people who are less privileged than us.